Yo guys, Jins here, and let's talk about PvP. TBC versus retail. What's better? That's the question. What should you play? And I'm gonna answer with probably the most simple answer I've ever gave to anyone asking something to me. Just play what you enjoy. Now, for me that means TBC. In my opinion, TBC is a better game overall, it's a better PvP experience. Now, you do get games where like we did yesterday or 2 days ago, where, for example, Warlock resists every CS I do, and resists like 3 clones in a row from my Druid, and you still win, but you're like, okay, this is a little bit nuts, and this gets better in Rat at least, but it is a little bit nuts, right? And in retail, you don't get that kind of stuff. But watching streams, it doesn't feel like 9.1 brought anything. Just new PvP talents that are not really that fun. They feel more like I was watching a shaman, and they felt like more of an annoyance than really something that is fun. Then I saw a mage against Windwalker, DH, and Dev. Jesus, like he couldn't cast the mage and just tried to cast, and they had the rest of shaman, so it made it 10 times harder, and it's like, okay, this is as nuts and as annoying as getting a resist, maybe more, because you don't even get to play the character. So what's better? I think that's the question, and most people do to streamers. From what I when I'm watching, I see like, oh, retail is better, oh, TBC is better. Like, I think that's the wrong question. I think the question is, what's more fun? Uh, Honestly, I believe the question is not what's more skilled, because let's be honest, World of Warcraft, in any of the expansions, has classes that are way more skilled than others, and has moments of really big skill in any type of expansion, and has moments of where you don't really need skill, you just need knowledge, and that is applicable to both TBC and Shadowlands. If you think about it, if you know the script to every comp you face in Shadowlands with your comp, and your comp is good, is that skilled? Like pressing an ending resolve as a warlock against a mage that fire mage that combusts. Is that skilled, or is it knowing the script? And at the same time, playing rogue lock, for example, in twos, like I have lately, and training a druid, for example, with low resilience still, is that skilled? It's debatable what skill really is, because you have class design, and in play, and class design plays a really big part of the skill. Now you can compare when in mirrors and what's more skilled, but I feel like this type of skill that requires retail doesn't really, it's not really the same that requires TBC. Both require knowledge though, knowledge of the game and what to do in certain situations. Now, for me, TBC is more fun because it's more unscripted. All of the resists, all of the misses, all of the parries, dodges, whatever, change the game on really on like go to go basis or game to game basis. So if you face an RMP and, for example, you get a sap on the rogue as roguelock druid, it's completely already a completely different game than if you don't really sap the rogue. Or if you get a stun resisted by the priest, it's a completely different game already than if you do. And that kind of stuff helps with unscripting the game. Now, I don't like that though. I don't like that a CS gets resisted, and because of that the game is unscripted. Because TBC doesn't really need that. What what is required, and I've said this on a previous old video, what is required to make the game unscripted, TBC already has, and Wrath of the Lich King also has that, and to some extent Cataclysm, which is sustained damage. If the damage is sustained, if you do a lot of damage without cooldowns, and if you don't have that many defensives or offensive cooldowns, it means that you can change your game plan on the fly. So, for example, I had a situation yesterday which just showed that me and my team are still kind of in, even though we played quite a bit of TBC, we are still in a kind of retail brain, because in retail you have a clear strat, you have a clear target. You might swap it up if the enemy team fucks up majorly, but usually you don't. You don't really swap it up because usually your comp can kill only one of the targets, maybe two of the targets, but in TBC you can kill all of the targets, and it was against a WLD, and I think this shows the best side of TBC in my opinion, and Rat and Kata. So what happened was we were playing against a WLD. We are roguelock druid. We open on the warrior. We get his trinkets with the stuns or with a clone, and we swap on the druid. We instantly swap on the druid. We CC the warlock. Now at some point we are almost killing the druid. He trinkets. I coil him, and the coil path was pretty dog shit. And the druid gets away. It starts running away. This was in Blade's Edge. So in the bridge, considering this is the bridge, for example, the druid starts running this way. And my rogue blinded the warrior, so he has more uptime on the druid. Now the warrior is here, like on the ramp. This is the ramp. Let's imagine this is the ramp, or actually better, this is the ramp, and this is the pillar. The warrior is right here, blinded, and the druid is running this way, and the warrior has 0 hots. Now, by the time I reach like this point, I call out a swap on the warrior because the druid is running away. The warlock is like in a clone. He doesn't have a kick at this point. He CS me or he just silenced me or my druid. And at this point, I call out a swap on the warrior for because the druid is running away. He doesn't have trinket. If he comes back, he gets feared and the warrior dies. That's my mind. But we keep training the druid, and at some point the warrior just gets off the roots because he's gnome, and he kills my druid. Like this is one of the best examples until now that we've had where me and my rogue didn't really connect. Because if I keep chasing the druid, we might actually kill the druid. So I but in my mind, going on the warrior would also kill the warrior. So there's a situation where we can kill 2 targets, and we weren't really synced. And what happened was we died. This only happens because the game is unscripted. If it's retail and your clear target is the druid, I'm not even thinking twice. And I don't even care that the warrior doesn't have trinket, is out of line of sight, and the druid is running away. I just follow. But since this game is super unscripted, I call out swap on the warrior. My rogue thought he could kill the druid, and he would probably kill the druid if I redotted the druid. But since the druid was already so far away from me, I thought, okay, let's not chase. Let's just kill this warrior right here because we have ship shot, we have kidney shot, and the warrior will just die, and the warlock can't really help because I have CS still, and the druid needs to come. So it felt perfect to swap. Now, this is not an example of like this is the example that until now it felt that TBC is just a better game for me because you have several options and you have so many options of targets. Even the warlock was a target in that situation. You have so many options of targets that you just you just need a really good communication. That's something I felt more like on retail. I'm just chilling, just like I remember BFA season 4, and I was Destro, and I was just like here and casting Chaos Bolt. On TBC, it's not really like that. And the script that you have on TBC changes. While on retail, it doesn't really change. And that's one of the things that I enjoy. Now, in this situation, this particular situation where the warrior is here, the druid is running away, and the warlock is just like here being cloned, every target, it's a good target. And it's insane how good the game is because of that, and how much more fun. We were super far ahead at that point, but we lost because we had a miscommunication. And because we had a miscommunication, we fucked up as a team, and we lost. Now, if it was retail and we had this miscommunication, first we wouldn't have, because there's a clear target. The druid is the target, and it's the same in TBC. The thing is, it changes during the game because someone uses shrink at a time that they shouldn't, and we can actually kill regardless of his spec, of his class, of his armor. Doesn't matter that the warrior, it's probably one of the worst targets for rogues, because I can kill him with Searing Pain, with Incinerate, and the warlock can't really do anything. Even if he has CS, if he CS's my fire, I just drain life. So, and if the druid tries to come, I will just fear him, right? So I enjoy way more this gameplay, because after a game I feel okay, we lost simply because we had a miscommunication. And it was probably my own fault because the rogue is already on the druid, so I just needed to keep running after the druid, and we would kill the druid. But since I have this idea, this notion, and it was such a perfect situation to do a swap, and as a warlock team, if you do good swaps, you probably win. We fucked up. And this never happened on retail. Me and my rogue have the best synergy. I think he is the best DPS player that I ever played with, and we have the most insane synergy. And TBC is super challenging in terms of synergy, and it's challenging us because we have different notions of what's good or what's bad. Because in my point of view, this is super good because I'm already here, but in his point of view, it's super bad because he's like here, so he needs to come back and step to the warrior. So it's so fun. It's actually so fun thinking about it. Even the losses are fun in TBC for me. Now, what's better? I think they are just different, and they are for different people. Like in retail, you have a lot of buttons you can press. You press a lot of buttons. It's super fast in terms of buttons. You're always pressing something. The problem with that for me is that the buttons you're pressing, if I'm pressing like these 3 buttons, they really don't do anything on retail. Like my dots as affliction, they don't. They really don't do damage. What will do damage is the Malefic Rapture, and that's 1 button. And it feels like every class it's like that. Elemental Shamans don't really do damage until they get Stormkeeper or a lot of Lava Burst procs. Rogues don't really do damage. Sub-rogues don't really do damage unless they get a lot of Eviscerates. Everything it's revolving around kind of 1 button, and everything else it's building up to that 1 button. And in PvP it's noticeable because this situation in retail, we could even swap. Let's imagine that our script target it's the druid, and we swap on the warrior because in that situation it's the best, and my rogue has like 2 steps because it's shadow step, right? Because of his sub, and we swap on the warrior. He doesn't die. He really doesn't die. So in his mind, in TBC, he won't die either, and it's so fun to have an unscripted gameplay for the first time in years, because the game has been scripted since MOP. People don't want to recognize this, but MOP was super scripted. All you need to do is go into BlizzCon finals where Min Poike loses to Lagoon and the Russian guys, and You can laser chicken, and you can see how scripted the gameplay was. They went back on the pillar until they had deep freeze. Then they would come, they would do the go, and would go back. It was legit like that. The whole final series. God comp against LSD2. And you don't really have that in TBC. You have constant pressure. You have bursts. You have moments where you need to CC. You have moments where you need to be super aggressive and hyper aggressive. You have moments where you need to chill. You have moments where you need to CC to control the pace. The pace is so much faster as well. Even though your class it's not fast, the buttons you press they are more meaningful. So for that reason, TBC it's better for me. But I do see why people enjoy retail as well because you don't have resists. Maybe the class design you actually like it. For example, I rather be stuck in a 10-second fear than playing against a Windwalker in the Age and getting stunned. Even if I fake them, I get stunned into stun, into incap, into incap, into Ring of Peace or something like that as well. So I hope people don't. First, just have fun. Answering what's best, none of them and both of them. It's just for different people. Maybe you love the scripted gameplay where you already know what you're gonna do, so you have a false notion of skill. And this is not a shot, but it is true. Like knowing a script, it's not skilled. Like I watch Was, and it's completely different when I watch him on retail and when I watch him on TBC. And when he says stuff that he's gonna do on TBC, I feel like it's more skilled than when he says stuff he's gonna do on retail because on TBC it's harder to predict what people will do. Obviously, you know if you blind a certain target and you're training a certain target that the blind will be a trinket. So it's easy to predict that, but it's also the same on retail. But yeah, so I think it depends on what you like. The answer is it depends on you. I feel like TBC it's a better game for me. I like this fast-paced slow class design but fast paced. So you press a global and it takes you a little bit more here on the global cooldown to actually be able to press another button. But I like that because it feels like every button you press it's super important, especially when you have fast gameplay. It really means that every button you press it's super important. I also don't enjoy really long 3v3 games, and by the end of the Shadowlands season 1, or by the middle because we didn't play in the end, but by the mid Shadowlands season 1 games were lasting 10 minutes, and I don't mind games lasting 10 minutes if they are like super competitive, but it's legit 10 minutes because no dampening, which it's another mechanic that I don't like. But if you do like scripts and if you do like, because I can see that people kind of enjoy that, right? But if you do like scripts and you do like super fast class design, maybe retail is better for you. And I can see why people don't enjoy TBC with all of the resists. I really do. Like, do you lose games because of resists? I still think not really. I'm still yet to lose a game just because of resists. Because even if, for example, a warlock resists like a CS or two clones or something, then we just need to adapt to the fact that I gotta resist. And you can adapt in TBC. I also enjoy a lot that, for example, if you get into a bad spot, you can be super punished. Like super punished. We had a game as well against a priest that just ran in to get in combat against us. And we completely fucking annihilated him. Um, it's just I just dotted. This was another synergy problem, but we still ended up winning. I dotted him. My rogue opened on his rogue though, because the rogue opened on me. And he wanted to blind the priest, and I just told him, just go on the fucking priest. He's in the middle. You know, I don't know if we lost or won that one, but I just love like if someone goes into a bad spot, you can actually punish. I really love that. Even as a warlock, if someone goes behind a pillar with me and I start doing damage to them, they will die. They will actually die. And kicks are way more important, finally. When for example, season 1 of Shadowlands, I kick a paladin, they just divine tool someone to full. Here, you kick someone, that guy can't heal. That's it. Or if I kick a disc priest, he starts to shadow mend. Like it makes no sense for me. But yeah, guys, the answer is both are good, both are bad. Like both have good aspects, both have bad aspects. Just go with what you prefer, because I do see a lot of people enjoying like a more slow-paced PvP, which is retail, and I do see people enjoying more faster pace. I think the main problem with the TBC PvP is the resists. I think it's what triggers more people. I remember why I was so toxic back in the day, because I was extremely toxic. Um, and I do see why it might not feel like skilled. You also have rogue mages at the moment, and it's season 1. Don't forget, it's season 1, so rogue mage it's absolutely broken, which makes the game feel a little bit less skilled, because they can legit train your healer while CCing you, and it feels like you can't do really anything, and in most cases you can't, because resilience, they just zug you and you're dead. So I see why people wouldn't enjoy TBC at the moment. I think season 2 it's way better, and season 3 it's the best because of gear. But and I see why people wouldn't enjoy scripts in Shadowlands, right? So the answer is just play what you enjoy. Uh, it's so simple, and I don't get all the hate that retail gets, and I don't get all the hate that classic TBC gets. Like, I do get why people get so emotional, because they want to see their favorite streamer playing whatever they enjoy, and they get really fucking defensive about it. Honestly, if I see, for example, Chanimals streaming TBC, I'm happy, I watch it. If I see him stream retail, I don't watch it. I'm not gonna be toxic in the chat. Why would I? If he's not playing what I enjoy, I just watch someone else. That's it. And I did watch a few 9.1 streams. I didn't enjoy. I think Blizzard needs to do way better in terms of class design, and I hope that TBC and Wrath of the Lich King, the pressure of Wrath of the Lich King coming and being probably the best TBC, the best PvP experience the game ever had, maybe it makes them actually the best class design, not really the best PvP, but yeah, it makes them actually design classes better, because at the moment the class design is just really bad in my opinion. It's the worst it has ever been, especially for affliction warlocks. But overall, I would say Shadow Priest is way more rewarding to play in TBC. I would say Warrior is way more fun. Mages were way more fun, and I think that's because of offensive and defensive cooldowns and sustained damage. I've always said this in every single video. Sustained damage needs to be king, and if retail had sustained damage, retail would be a better PvP experience. Even with all the dogshit stuns, with all the dogshit interrupts that everyone has, it would still be a better PvP experience. The problem is the lack of sustained damage. Like you see a sub rogue, for example, and sub rogue is the pinnacle of the class design right now, where you do nothing, you stun, and you do all of your damage. You have Shadow Blades, nice, you can do damage. You don't, get fucked. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to rant a little bit about this. I hope TBC just improves the game. I never wanted classic, any type of classic. I just wanted them to fucking focus on the game and look back, see what was good, see what was bad, and improve. Okay, resists are bad for the game. Let's remove them. They removed them a long time ago. Sockets, tier sets are really fun. Let's add them back. Uh, Longer CCs are really fun. Well, not for who is being CC'd, but for whoever is making the CC. Let's add them back. Small CC like stuns and incaps and all of that. Well, that's kind of fucking annoying and it prevents casters from playing the game. So let's remove them. And if casters can't play the game, what happens? We need to make them really strong in terms of cooldowns. And what do? They do the combustion, and they add combustion and they add Dark Soul and all of that. Like everything is a ripple effect in World of Warcraft. So I hope they recognize this ripple effect. I hope they remove defensive cooldowns, they remove offensive cooldowns, and just let people play the game. Why are CC so low? Because the people complained about being in attack and second fear. Yeah, sure, it's annoying, but in my opinion, it's way more annoying being stunned 3 times in a row into incap, into then the CC. The pruning should have pruned a lot of stuff that it didn't, and should have added other stuff. But yeah, guys, I hope they do better. Blizzard needs to do better. Needs to be better at class design. Needs to be better at designing PvP. Needs to be better at balancing PvP. Like Warlocks have been dog shit since the start of the Shadowlands, and they are still dog shit from what I've seen. So they need to do better overall. They really need to do better. They focus on always on the same classes: rogue, mage, priest. They're always the best classes, always. The others have moments. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and drop a comment. Say what you like more. So just if you're a TBC fan, why are you a TBC fan in terms of PvP? And if you're a retail fan, why is that as well? Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.